Python Basics Numeric Variables. In this video, we'll have a look at the particular type of variable that we know as the numeric variable, the one that stores numbers as opposed to variables that store strings or Boolean values, as we've seen previously, focusing only on numeric variables here. And essentially there are two different types of numeric variables that we will look at, the integer and the float. And we'll see the difference in those shortly. We're also going to have a look at how all of the different arithmetic operators that we have available to us in programming work differently. Many of these you're very, very familiar with from your study of maths up until now, but there's a few different looking ones. And that's because we don't necessarily have all of those same symbols that you use in maths available to us on the computer keyboard. So we use some different symbols for some things. And there's also a couple of arithmetic operators that are common in programming that you probably don't see used typically very much in maths. So there's a couple of new things to us there. And then we're going to have a look at what we call casting, which is the process that we can use to turn a variable from one type into another, which is something that we have to do reasonably commonly in our programs. Okay, so if we start by having a look at some different numeric variables, I've got four different numeric variables here. num1, num2 and num3 are all integer variables, simply because they store integer values. And we know an integer is just a whole number. It can be a negative whole number or a positive whole number, but we call those integers. As opposed to num4, the variable num4 is storing the value of 2.5. So that's a decimal value. In programming, we call that a float. So any value, numeric value, that has a decimal value or a fractional value is called a float. So if it's not an integer, then it's a float. Now we can do some certain things with these, our operators. I can take my value of num1 and add it to my value of num2, so I'm just performing basic addition, and num1 is 3, num2 is 9, so if I add those values together I'm going to get 12. Fairly straightforward. Likewise is subtraction. If I subtract the value of num1 from the value of num2, that's going to be 9 subtract 3. I'm going to be left with a value of 6. Fairly straightforward, as is multiplication. The difference with multiplication is the x that you'd normally use in maths already has a meaning on a computer keyboard. It's the little letter x, so we need a different symbol to represent multiplication, and we use the asterisk for that. So if I multiply my num1 times num2, 3 by 9, that's going to give us a value of 27. Similarly, division, we don't have the normal divide symbol that you use in maths. So if I use num2, the division operator we use is the /. If I divide num2 by num1, 9 divided by 3, I'm going to get 3, but I get 3.0. So previously when I did the addition and the subtraction and the multiplication, I got integer values as my output. When I do a division operator, use a division operator, I get a float value as my output. So that's something to be aware of. The division operator will always produce a float value as your output. And some of my other operators that we saw on the previous slide were some different ones, a few unusual ones. I'll have a look at the exponent operator first. So exponent is just another term for power. So if I want to raise something to a power, for example, to square a number or to find the cube of a number. So if I want to square num1, for instance, num1, the operator that I use is the double asterisk. That's my exponent operator or my power. So if I do num1 to the power of 2, I'm going to effectively be doing 3 squared, 3 times 3 in other words, which is 9. So that's my exponent operator, 2 asterisk symbols. The operator that we saw that probably is a little bit different would be the percent operator, which is used to represent the operator modulus or modulo, depending on the programming language you're talking about, would be the term that you use, but they all use this modulo operator. So if I, for instance, have a look at num2, and I use modulo mod, we often call that for short, num2 mod num1, the output that I'm going to get in that case is 0, which is a little bit strange. So 9 mod 3 gives me an output of 0. Before I explain exactly what that does, let's have a look at another example. If I do mod num3 mod num1, I get 2. So that's interesting. Num3 is 20, num1 is 3, so 20 mod 3 is 2. How does that work? Well, if we have a closer look at something else, and I do, say, the number num3, and I use what are known as the integer division or the floor division. Sorry, I want to go the other way. I'm going to go back to num3, floor division or integer division, num1. Let's see what that gives us. So the same two values, num3 and num1, modulo division gives me 2, integer division or floor division gives me 6. So both of those are fairly interesting, but perhaps if we look at just regular division, we might get a clue as to what is going on. So regular division of num3 divided by num1 is 6.66666 with a 7 on the end. So we can see then if I divide num3, which is 20, by num1, which is 3, I get 6.6. I get this fractional value, this decimal value, a float type value. Integer division of those same two values, floor division, ignores any remainder or any decimal value. It just tells me how many times does my num1 divide into num3 evenly. And it divides in 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. So I just, in floor division or integer division, I get rid of the remainder. I don't worry about it. I'm only concerned with the number of whole times that my division occurs, which gives us a clue as to where this 2 comes from when I use modulo division, because it is concerned with the remainder. It doesn't care about how many times it divides evenly. I'm only looking for what's left over afterwards. And 20 is divisible by 3 6 times, 6 3s are 18, with a remainder of 2. So modulo division is all about finding the remainder. Integer division, floor division, is all about finding the number of whole times that the division can occur between those two values. So they're a little bit different in the way those operators work, and you may not be too familiar with those, but they're very useful in certain types of programs. And finally, casting is the next concept that we want to make sure that we understand. If I'm just going to revisit my num2 divided by num1 up here, num2 divided by num1 operation, and instead of doing that regular division, I am going to put int out the front of my operation, and int is short for integer. So what I'm doing here is I'm asking my operator, my Python interpreter, to cast my result, which we know from previously using this is going to give me a float value of 3.0, and instead I'm saying don't give me a float value for my output, give me an integer value for my output. So I'm casting my output to be a different form. Likewise, I can take my num1 and plus num2 operation, and I can say turn that into a float, please, which means I'm going to get a decimal value for my result rather than just the normal integer that I would expect. So that's what we call casting. So casting becomes particularly important to understand if I am looking to request let me get my variable number right. If I'm looking to request some input from the user, as we've seen before, I want to just enter a value. So I'm asking the user to give me some value. By default, Python will always treat that value that's entered as a string, regardless of what it is. Even if I've input a number, it will always be treated as a string. So therefore, if I want to have that treated as a value, as a number, so that I could perhaps use it in a calculation, then I need to cast that value by using one of my commands out front of it. So by saying int input enter value, it's going to force any value that gets entered here to be treated as a number. So if I now get my question that I entered, and I'm asking for my value, and I enter, say, 7, and I then try and access my num, which, by the way, up until now we've done that simply by typing the name of the variable. The more correct way to do this would actually be to use the print command and put my variable that I'm wanting to output inside the brackets of my print command. And I will print out the value of 7, whereas otherwise, previously, that would have been treated as a string. Having it treated as an integer, I'm forcing that to happen. I can tell that because it's not, when I'm outputting it, it's not, hasn't got quotes around it, which it would have if it was a string value. So that is my different types of numeric variables, integers and floats, and the use of all of the different arithmetic operators and the things that they can do, and some simple introduction to casting, which is a concept we'll revisit when we talk about strings in some more depth.